Now to our focus today. On the program, we are talking politics. Former presidential candidate Peter Obi has expressed uncertainty about securing the presidential ticket of the African Democratic Congress ADC ahead of the 2027 general election. In a video that circulated on social media on Thursday, Mr. Obi told supporters that his chances of clinching the party's ticket remain unclear, emphasizing that his focus is on the broader cause rather than personal ambition. Reflecting on Nigeria's political landscape, he questioned how things had evolved and what could happen if current reform efforts were abandoned. Despite reported threats, Peter Obi reaffirmed his commitment to his ideals and praised his supporters for their resilience. He also highlighted ongoing concerns about political alliances and loyalty within Nigeria's opposition space. Now, my guest tonight is Adebayo Adedosu. He is a public affairs analyst and co-founder, Africa Data Warehouse. He is also a member of the APC. He joins me as we talk about this matter and especially in the countdown to the 2027 general election. Mr. Adedosu, welcome to Beyond the Headlines.
Thank you very much for having me today. What would I say? Eid Mubarak and Baraka Jima.
Yes, it's a two-in-one celebration indeed. What a way to wrap up Ramadan. But let's, get to the matter for today. It's a little less than 10 months to the presidential election next year. Already we're hearing from Peter Obi, who has expressed uncertainty about securing the presidential ticket of the ADC, that's his party now. What was your initial reaction when you heard that statement, and what factors do you think might be driving Mr. Obi's fears?
You see, when I read that statement, the first thing I did was to take a screenshot and use AI to verify that he actually made the statement, because I wanted to be sure that he actually made a statement. Because I don't understand how a politician can be so myopic to think that the world revolves around him. The first thing I will say is Peter Obi is a nomadic politician. And when I say nomadic politician, Peter Obi has never in his political history, in his political life, contested any party primaries. He has always been gifted. He is such a politician that has no base, is even more fluid than water, than the wind that blows here and there.
When you talk about base, yeah, we'll get to that trajectory. When you talk about base, remember the obedient movement that rallied so much around Peter Obi in 2023 and who have continually, called on him to ensure that he throws his hat into the ring in 2027. So isn't that a political base of some sort?
Please. Don't insult our sensibilities when you're talking about the obedience movement. Obedience movement is not a political movement. The creation of obedient movement is anathema to Nigeria's political development. It is a cankerworm that the Nigerian political system should not do with, because obedient movement has proved to be very dangerous. They run on emotions and blackmail. That does not mean it has a political base, as it were. Where is this grassroots base? How many wards does it have people in? How many local government does it have people in? We are not talking about a movement that is created out of anger. We are not talking about a movement that is created out of tribal consciousness. That is not what we are talking about. We are talking about political integration. We are talking about political cohesion. We are talking about building borders, building friendship across the spectrum. That is not what he has done. Peter Obi has always harvested where he has not planted. In Abga, we all remember that late Chief Odumegwu Ojukwu raised his hand up as the flag bearer for governorship in Anambra State in those days. Again, he said then that he would never, for the good of his life, leave Abga. From Abga, he went to PDP. He was the running mate to Atiku in 2019. In 2023, when it was obvious that he was not going to get the PDP ticket, he ran to Labour Party. And now he has also gone to ADC. That is why Peter Obi is a nomadic politician.
But Mr. Adedosu, when you talk about Peter Obi and talk about this obedient movement that you have, chosen to not see as a political movement, they were able some way to win a state as integral as Lagos. Even talk about the nation's capital, Abuja, in the last election. So doesn't that amount to the fact that they carry some weight and, some level of relevance and significance?
I would not say they don't carry some weight. They carry weight, or the weight they carry is weight of emotions, blackmail, and harassment. I will give it to them. They won Lagos. But if we really want to look at what really happened in that election and in other states, tell me how fair an election is when a candidate, just one candidate, where you have plurality of political parties, scores 94%. What kind of political agenda is that?
Does it not talk about the fact that they're probably grounded there, and it's just their base, and they just came all out to support?
No. If they were grounded in a particular region of the country that was scoring 96, 94, why was he not able to replicate it in other parts of the country? And if they were so widespread, how come they could not cover all the polling units in Nigeria, 177,000. How come they could not cover all these polling units if they are so grounded? If it has the structure, how come when they were having the election in ADC, in Abuja recently, they did not even have agents at all the polling units? That tells you that Obi is such a man that moves, is like a wife or a husband that moves from one woman to the other, or a woman that moves from one man to the other. He's never stable. He has never built a party. He has never tried to create harmony within a political structure. He had every opportunity, after he created so much enmity within Labour Party, to build Labour Party. But he left Labour Party at the end of the day. Is that somebody he contested on the platform? Hold on. He contested on the platform of Labour Party, but immediately after that election, he left the party. What kind of candidate is that? And he believes that ADC will give him the ticket a la carte. It's not done, because the honest truth is ADC is an SPV for Atiku and for Atiku only.
Mr. Adedosu,
Labour Party as an SPV for Peter Obi in 2023.
I hear what you have said, but in this case now, Mr. Obi has emphasized that his focus is on the broader cause rather than personal ambition. So don't you think he deserves the benefit of a doubt?
What cause are we talking about? If he's talking about personal cause, when he was not going to get the ticket in 2023 in PDP, why did he leave? Why did he not stay in PDP and wither the storm with PDP and build PDP or fight within PDP? Because somebody like Wike was fighting a cause. If Peter Obi had joined him to fight that cause, maybe PDP would have been a better party for him to actually use today. And as it were, I'm not sure if he's able to go back to Labour Party, because his vice presidential candidate then is holding the party down. I'm not sure that Nenadi Usman, who is the current chairman, will be able to swing anything in his favor, in his direction. It simply means Peter Obi will be left out there in the cold. The obedience movement were like, oh, if they don't give him the ticket, is it a gift? Is it Christmas gift? Is the political party Santa that they'll just give you the party's ticket without any contest for it? Some people have gone there to prepare themselves. When he was busy buying granite all over the street, somebody like Atiku was in the Southeast meeting with Southeast leaders to build bridges. And recently, South leaders gave their support to Rotimi Amechi. It is the realization of that is making Obi to come out and say he's not certain. Of course, he shouldn't be. There is no way he will ever be certain, because when he was supposed to be doing his own work, when he was supposed to be planning, to be putting structures in place, he was busy gallivanting all over the place, trash talking Nigeria, talking boulder dash about Nigeria, talking gibberish.
But Mr. Adedosu, if you look at it, you yourself have mentioned that it is not a gift that is handed down. So that statement might as well just be a normal statement, just a natural statement to say that, hey, I'm uncertain about this. If it comes, yes, I grab it. And if it doesn't, I stay in the party. But then let's take a break. When we come back from the break, we'll continue the conversation. Please stay with us, everyone. We'll be back in a moment. Thus, everyone, my guest Adebayo Adedosu is still with me. And of course, we're talking about next year's elections and taking it from that statement from Mr. Obi that he is uncertain about clinching the ticket of the ADC in next year's presidential election. So, Mr. Adedosu, let's take a broader look at events ahead of next year's general election. We are seeing political realignment. And for instance, an ADC chieftain, Kenneth Okonkwo, has boasted that the ADC is now the leading opposition party in Nigeria. With a wave of defections and this latest statement from from Peter Obi, do you share that same sentiment?
The honest truth is, what did you expect him to say? There is no way anybody who sells bread and akara will ever come out and tell you his bread is bad, that his bread is not fresh, is not even fresh of today, or the akara was made yesterday. You don't expect anything less than what he has said. He's just trying to psych himself up, pump up his base. But we all know that a political party that does not have governors backing it, that does not have legislators at the federal level, at the state level, or even local government chairmen, how do they intend to penetrate the grassroots? What kind of politics are they playing that they think because they grandstand via media, using the media to grandstand and using influencers to push some agenda, simply translate into votes? See, what they are simply preparing for is a case to say, oh, they have been robbed, as they claim, as Labour Party that came third the last time claimed that they have been robbed.
But Mr. Adedosu, if you're talking about Labour Party, back in 2023, they did not have a governor in the party, and they were able to put up a very strong showing during the election. So don't you think that this is just a matter of these individuals and politicians and parties agreeing to use the ADC as a vehicle?
Things have changed. Let's get it clear. Things have changed. Things have changed drastically, okay? The sentiment of 2023 is not going to play out this time around. A lot of people that went with a Labour Party that time on the basis of emotion are now wiser than they were in 2023. They have seen that all kinds of things were cooked up, and they have also seen that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is delivering, is actually working to save Nigeria from the brinks of economic collapse. I can imagine an Obi presidency or an Atiku presidency, how they would have been able to weather the storm, how they would have been able to, if they would be able to take the kind of tough decisions that is moving Nigeria forward, that is causing Nigeria to be recognized, that is changing the statistics from the international monetary organizations towards Nigeria.
Would it not be difficult to say?
Something is happening positive.
But would it not be difficult to say, or unless they have the opportunity?
Unless they have the opportunity, like how? What kind of opportunity are we looking at? Election goes beyond emotions, okay? Election goes beyond emotion. Election is how you are able to galvanize your base. Right now, I can assure you, look at President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who just came back from the UK after the state visit. That was an amazing state visit. And for the records, in a year, there are only 2 state visits that are done. And President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has taken one of the slots for a state visit in the United Kingdom. And he played Nigeria well in international consciousness. And we have a politician who goes about talking trash about Nigeria, who goes about bad-mouthing Nigeria, and it is the same person that wants to be the president of Nigeria, and Nigerians are not dumb. You cannot trash what you want to eat. You cannot foul the water you are going to drink. Peter Obi has fouled the waters. He has brought mud into the waters. That is not the kind of person that Nigerians should even be talking about. When we are talking about serious politicians, we should not even be putting Peter Obi beside the likes of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. It is an insult. It is unheard of, because we need to always look at antecedents and pedigrees. What is his pedigree? What has he achieved as a person and as a politician? When he was governor, what has he achieved? And honestly speaking, I think this is about the time, this is the safest time for Peter Obi to go back to his special advisor at Upper Iweka, the madman of Upper Iweka, his special advisor, to advise him on his political journey. He needs that advice.
Well, Mr. Adedosu, let's look at other parties now, in the build-up to this next election. We'll ask, where really does the PDP stand in all of these? We have seen the Wike-backed National Caretaker Committee hold congresses and inaugurate executives across states, in accordance to the court injunctions. Where do you think the PDP stand, and are they really putting up a good showing ahead of the next polls?
For all intents and purposes, PDP will just be what we call showing up for the ceremony. If PDP would have a candidate in the presidential election, it would just for them to make up the numbers, not because they are going to do anything fantastic or there is anything. Who is left in PDP today? What is left of PDP today? This was the party that boasted in 1999, when they assumed powers, that they were going to rule for 60 years, that they were the biggest political party in the whole of Africa. Right now, they are so incinerated that they are the smallest political party in Africa, if I may say that. So politically, PDP is not in any equation. So if they have a candidate, I wish them well. It is their right to have a candidate, but nothing is expected from them. And saying that is why you see elements within PDP moving to APC, because there is still these back and forth court cases. But so far, it is the Wike faction of the party that has been recognized by the court. Unfortunately, for somebody like Seyi Makinde, the governor of Oyo State, the money of Oyo State he wasted on hosting a national convention, whatever, that shambolic national convention in Ibadan has been nullified as something that never existed, as something that never happened. So PDP is not even in the equation as we are speaking. And please, let us just respect them for their history. Outside of their history, there is nothing to them.
Now, there have been calls for opposition parties to form a coalition. Some call it the third force. Do you see that happening? And how much of a threat would that be to the APC? Should they actually unite for that cause?
The question is, can these people work together? Everybody, every one of them has an agenda. Who is going to step down for who? Is it Atiku that has held down ADC, that has created confusion within ADC, that is using ADC as a special purpose vehicle for himself, that is going to work with somebody, with other politicians, and not get the ticket? Remember, Atiku said for as long as he's alive, he will be contesting the presidency of Nigeria. So that is the lifelong ambition for him. He's not going to step down for anybody. We have a group of power grabbers who are just looking to grab powers, not because they have anything meaningful to do. Have you ever asked them, their chieftains, that what is their ideology? Apart from selling emotion to Nigerians, trying to stoke up emotions, what is their manifesto? They don't have anything. Look at ADC as it were. I'm even afraid that at the end of the day, ADC might not even be able to field the candidates, because the Ralph Nwosu-led leadership resigned. But the deputy national chairman did not resign. And going by the ADC constitution, when the national chairman resigns or quits for whatever reason, it is the deputy national chairman that automatically becomes the national chairman. But that is not the case right now. We have other people who are parading themselves as the ESCO of ADC, and they are claiming that Nafiu Gombe, who is the deputy national chairman, who is now supposedly the national chairman after Ralph Nwosu resigned, that is being sponsored by APC. This is what happens when you have a congregation of strange bedfellows who are only seeking power, for the good of themselves, not for the good of the nation.
So, Mr. Adedosu, as we count down, as we count down to next year's general election, what do you recommend that the Nigerian citizenry and voters should look out for in electing whoever would represent them across different levels of leadership?
Well, unfortunately, we have a section of Nigerians that are ruled by emotions and not reality, and not what makes sense, and not empirical facts. Honestly speaking, the best choice, the best bet till thy kingdom come for Nigeria is President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
I hear you, but I wasn't actually talking about persons. I was instead talking about ideas, characters, attributes that you think people should look out for.
That's what I'm coming to, because I'm looking at the talking about personalities now. I will tell Nigerians specifically and sincerely that don't go with the noise being made in a section of the political space. Go with somebody who is tested, who knows his onions, who is there to take decisions for the long run, for the good of the country on the long run. Not people who are just looking to grab power, not people who have actually not done anything that people can track and trace and say, this is this person's antecedent. We need to talk about ideology. It is unfortunate that we have politicians in the opposition who don't have any ideology, who are not together on the basis of ideology. Okay, in a party where we have David Mark, Atiku, Rauf Aregbesola, you ask yourself, what is the ideology they have brought together? If there is no ideology, that it is just like, oh, Nigeria is bad, everything about Nigeria is bad, let's ask them, what are they going to do differently? That's the question Nigerians should ask. What are they going to do differently from what the President Bola Ahmed is currently doing? And I love the fact that Otumba Segun Sowunmi described the ADC and all these groups as a bunch of jokers and Peter Obi as a lazy politician. These are just power grabbers that are not only good for the name they bear.
Well, we'll need to leave the conversation there. Public affairs analyst and co-founder, Africa Data Warehouse, also a member of the EPC, Adebayo Adedosu. Thank you for your time on the program.
Thank you very much for having me once again. Baraka, Jimo, and have a great weekend.
Thank you. Well, that's our show for today. Remember, you can watch a repeat broadcast at midnight and at 6 a.m. I am Abosede.